Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Hope you're having a great morning. I certainly am. I guess I'm actually about to take a nap. I didn't go to sleep. But in any case, it's important to understand and remember that your entire reality was created when you were just a child, right? And you're still running off of programs that you created when you were just a child. What I mean by that is all of reality is based on your meanings and your definitions that you have of the world. So as a child, you have a meaning of self, right? You want to know who you are, what it means to be you, what you're all about, right? You have a meaning for your value. What do you contribute to the world? What's the role that you play? So with that being said, you also start to develop definition for your power, right? What are you capable of? What are you incapable of? What's within your control? What are you a victim of? All these things you start to develop when you're just a child. Your concept of other people, right? What's your idea of the rest of the human race? Do you think that the rest of the human race is a bunch of idiots? Or do you think that the rest of the human race has great potential to be something and be someone, right? And what do you think about the world and all the different worlds that you encounter? What do you think about the world of the internet, right? What are your rules for navigating the internet? What are your rules for navigating the place that you work at? What are your rules for navigating your family life? What are your rules for navigating your love life? So when you really think about it, all of these frameworks that we develop that structure our reality, we created when we were babies, children, from ages infancy all the way up to age 7. And we've all heard that by the time you reach about age 7 to 13 or whatever, your whole world is pretty much set. All of your views on life are pretty much set. Well, this is exactly what that means. All those different categories of understanding that you place on the world were all created when you were a child. Now, why am I emphasizing this? Well, if you never stop to take the time to analyze those categories, if you never stop and take the time to adjust those categories, then you're still living life based on being a little kid. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not going to be very efficient for a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old, right? And here's the thing. If you never evaluate those categories of life that you have, you are still living with the mindset of a child. And we see this every day. All the people around you, you see babies in adult bodies, right? Age doesn't mean anything. Someone can be older than you and still extremely immature in more than one way. I mean, some people can be very professional at work, but then they get home and they're a completely different person, right? So the thing is, it's very, very important to take into consideration your beliefs about the world more than likely started when you were a kid. And here's the thing with that. These beliefs about the world that you have, they create emotions and they create states and patterns of thinking. And oftentimes, if these states and patterns of thinking, if these views that you have of reality don't line up very well with what's going on out in the outside world, then you're what's considered unsane, right? You're not grounded. And this is important for people like us who study spirituality and practice these things. It's very important for us to be grounded. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go out and try to fit in. What I'm saying is that It's very important to make sure that the perspective that you have of reality is grounded in such a way that you can interact with the rest of the world fluently, efficiently. I know people who live in their own worlds, and they live in their worlds for so long that it starts to not line up and not match up with the rest of the world. And while on the internet that's cute and that's cool, it causes suffering. It causes suffering because it causes loneliness, right? As human beings, as human creatures, it's a need to be heard, to be understood, to be seen, to be felt. Now, we may deny that need, we may distance ourselves from that need based on childhood pain, but the need is still there, no matter how you cover it up. So, I'm looking at the chat, and I'm not sure if it's messed up or anything like that, but okay, there we go. Peace to everybody that's here. Good morning. Good morning. Make sure that the reality that you have in here, your viewpoints, your categories for yourself, categories for your capability, categories for other people, and categories for how systems function, make sure all that lines up in reality. Make sure that those systems you have are grounded, because like I said, if they're not grounded, then technically you're reaching that category that's called insane. Hope that's helpful. Hope that's helpful. I mean, it's helpful to me. I know it's helpful. The only reason it wouldn't be helpful is if you, aren't listening or whatever. But anyways, on to some spiritual shit. This is a cool book so far. I mean, it's alright. Nothing special. Nothing I haven't seen before. But, in any case, what I've been studying and what I've been going through lately is basically a deep study of the mental plane and how these different planes line up with the physical plane. And it's very difficult for most people to conceptualize the mental plane because there isn't very much written on it, at least not under the category of the mental plane. It's usually found in professional scientific type books. But in any case, what I'm really coming to see is that the higher up in these planes you go, it's literally not what you think, right? It's not no damn angels floating around with wings and demons and gnashing of teeth and all that stuff. Here's the thing. You may have had experiences with spirits that look a certain way, with tentacles or 1,000 eyes or whatever. I'm not saying that your experience was not true. That's not what I'm saying. Don't jump to conclusions and try to start a fight. What I'm saying is, what you have encountered is not the totality of the thing. I too have communicated with spirits, and I still do. But I understand that what I'm communicating with is just my own perception of something much larger than I can cognize. You feel what I'm saying here? So essentially, like I said in a previous video, we're literally dealing with algorithms. You're literally dealing with patterns of change. That's literally what we're dealing with. And like I said, what happens is that when we perceive or when we come into an encounter with these things, our very small, limited minds cannot cognize what we're encountering. So what we do is we create something that we can understand. We create some type of symbolic interface to represent the energy that we're coming into contact with. It's the same thing as having these two right here, right? These are characters that you've probably seen before. And for all intents and purposes, these are fictional characters. But hell, Travis Magus is a fictional character. and all three of us still have a very real impact on your daily life. So it doesn't matter if something's real or not real. What matters is every symbolic representation in your life is an expression of some type of energy, some type of algorithm, some type of pattern of change, right? So if you're wearing a cross around your neck, why are you doing that? That cross is a symbol, right? And that symbol represents some type of algorithmic process. Now, you can't grasp the totality of what the cross represents, but you do grasp enough for you to understand it and use it and to have an established connection with it, right? So there's no such thing as a symbol or a sigil that's more holy or more spiritual than anything else, right? Because what makes a symbol or a sigil holy or spiritual is the emphasis and the meaning that we place on it. Like I said in the beginning of this video, this whole matrix is about meaning. Meaning is the source code, right? If you can get to the level where you can control meaning, then you can get to the level where you can actually start controlling your reality. See, if you don't control the meaning, then you don't control what happens to you, and you don't control the story of what's happening to you, right? So it's very important to understand, like I said in the beginning of this video, that most of the categories of meaning and definition that you have originated when you were a child, when you had a mind that wasn't mature enough to make the best decisions. So it's very crucial and very important to update those categories. What is going on with this camera? For example, the fact that my camera is going crazy right now, someone can easily say, "Oh, the Illuminati, they're stopping the live stream because you're dropping gems." You can put that meaning on reality. But what I want to ask you is, what is that the first thing that jumps to you? What is it within your mental makeup that makes you quickly assume something is negative and bad, right? You can easily have put a different meaning on it. But yeah, I'm guessing because this camera's going crazy like this, I don't know if audio's going crazy too. But I guess I'll have to end this soon. But in any case, just to wrap everything up, remember what I said. This is all about understanding the power of meaning, right? It will behoove you to learn how to gain a real-time mastery over the power of meaning, setting definition of all the different things in your life. Not just the different symbols, but also the events that may happen, and also the types of thoughts that you think, right? There are thoughts that happen automatically, and even you place those into categories. Now, most of this happens unconsciously, but like I said, if you can get to a point where you're able to, in real time, adjust where your thoughts go, right? Radic by Nature said, meaning is the source code. Exactly. Exactly. I don't think the camera's gonna fix itself, so I guess I shouldn't live stream with this phone. I don't know. Self-detect says the shit is chopped and screwed. Right. Absolutely. Alright, well, I said what I said. I hope you'll have a good day. I'm gonna take a nap. And yeah. Algorithms, pattern change.